This is going to be how-to on a 2008 Econoline E450. How to replace this handle here on the sliding door. Sometimes it gets stuck, and when you close it, it won't release. So we're going to replace the handle. The way you do that, you come inside, take a seat here, and you'll notice this. There's a release here for the window so you can open it. Well, it has two of them, so it takes 3 screws each. Take those screws out, and once you have them out of the way, you should be able to start pulling on this plastic paneling here. There's 2 pieces, the top part and the bottom part. The bottom part might have a screw hidden somewhere, so if it does, I'll go ahead and find it and show it to you. But the way you remove it is you just pull the plastic from anywhere you can grab it from, pretty much. Just pull on it. Move those out of the way there. It sounds a little intimidating when you pull it apart, but you pull these out, move it out of the way. And now this is out of the way. This part here, I don't know if you saw it fly off, but I guess it's probably best to remove this plastic that goes there first. So unscrew that, and then undo that top plastic. And if you look at the corners here, there's a screw there and another screw there. They're all Phillips. So you just take your Phillips screwdriver and remove them. So I'm gonna pause it here and do this real quick, and then I'll show you the next step. Second one. Once you've removed that screw there, that screw over there, what you want to do is grab onto this guy and then pull out and up. Okay, and it comes out. The reason you have to pull up is because, one second, it has these hooks there. Those, it has a few of them. So those things are hooked up on the inside part of this door. You can see where they slide into. So you have to slide them in and then slide them down to get them into place. And it has several. You can see one there, one over there, one over there. So there's a bunch of them. So it's fairly easy to remove the panel. So now what controls the hinge on the outside, well, both of them actually, if you see when you pull the handle, it's supposed to release, it's supposed to pull on the mechanism inside, and it's supposed to release it. For some reason it's not working on the, when you try to open it from the outside, only from the inside. 9 times out of 10, it's always this screw here. This guy right there. It's just a little bit out of reach. If you tighten that thing up, there won't be any more play, and you'll be able to open it. Let's see if I can demonstrate that. So yeah, that's the issue. That's always the issue on these doors. And I've tried different things to try and kind of be a little lazy and not have to take this apart and stuff like that, because, you know, it's a little sometimes in a pinch I'll just open it up real quick and tighten that screw up, and that'll fix it temporarily. Eventually it'll walk back out, so you're gonna have to replace it even if you don't want to. So I'm gonna replace it anyway, but that's the main reason why the outside handle stops working for the most part. So the way you remove this one's fairly easy. You can see up there in the top there's a, see if I can point at it right there, there's a nut. You undo that one, and you undo that bottom one there. I can't reach, so I can't point at it, but that one, they look identical, that one and that one. And then you release the plastic tabs there. You just take like a screwdriver and push those open, and those come undone, and then you put in the new assembly. So it's fairly easy. I'm gonna get something to see if I can show you how I do it. I'm sorry, I don't know which position this thing is recording, so bear with me here. So on that one there, I just push it open. It's open. And then I'll reach in there and pull back on it to unlatch it. It's like pressed in there. There we go. You push it out, it's easier. Alright, so push it out, and then unscrew that one and the one down there. So I'll be right back in 1 minute after I undo that. Okay, so I got those out. Now you just kind of wiggle it loose. Sometimes you have to pull on this here. Like pull on it as if you're trying to open it. We're going to clear this out. So there's a piece, and there's a little bit of play. The number one issue is that screw in the middle. So that thing starts going bad. It loosens up, and then when you try to open it from the outside, the lever won't actuate. So I'm just going to replace the whole thing because it's kind of wiggly. And this plastic thing here is where that rod slides into. And then you could adjust it. You could adjust the sensitivity, but I'll show you when I'm putting it back together. So also the screws are 10 millimeter. The bottom one you can access a little bit easier through this hole here. You can see where the mark is. The top one is kind of a little bit off center, and then there's this big thing in the way. So you could try to take all this crap out of the way if you want, but I don't. Like a good swiveling what you call it, like a good swivel, or maybe an extension that has like a rounded connector. It allows you to put like a short socket and a little bit of angling on it. Should be able to take that off, and also maybe a magnet to catch it. But that's probably the most frustrating part, is trying to get it in there if you have only straight extensions. Other than that, yeah, 10 millimeters. Those will come out. So I'll pause you and then I'll be back. Okay, so I went ahead and installed it. It's in already. The new handle's in there. The only thing I did use from the old one was the original plastic clip that retains the bar there. The new one seems a little cheap, and also it was put on backwards. Instead of being on this side, it was on this side here, so it wasn't sticking up backwards, it was sticking up forward, and I think that was wrong. And also the material seems a little cheaper, so I just decided to go with the original. The original was still good. So there's just little tabs there that you pinch and it'll pop out of that hole there, this hole. So really quickly, I don't know if you can still see that my battery's starting to die here, but there's a little arm there, this one, and what you do is you just squeeze it in. Now what you want to do is try this out a few times possibly before you completely put everything back together. So squeeze it in, close a little plastic tab behind it, and then test out the sensitivity, because this rod has a little bit of play on it. So if it's too difficult to open from the outside, like you have to go, you pull the handle too far out and you feel like it's not really engaging properly, what you can do is always play with this. So you would undo that plastic yellow tab there, open it up, pop this out, maybe bring it down a little bit more, pull it down a little tiny bit, and then clip it, and then just try it. Or if you want beforehand, probably a smarter idea, before you remove the original place, you can mark it with like a Sharpie or something there, so then that way you can line it up with the new one. Sometimes the new ones might have different slack in the handle, so it might not be identical placement, but so for me, I've done this a few times, so I feel confident that I can figure it out. But if you just if you're kind of nervous or whatever, you can always mark it and then just kind of play with it if you need to. But yeah, this rod here can always be either pulled up some or pulled down some and then put into place. And make sure you always clip it, because if you just try to snap it in there and leave that clip open so you don't have to keep opening and closing it, what'll happen is it'll pop out of place while you're trying to test it, and then you won't get an accurate test. So that's how you do this. So I'm gonna test it out now. You test it from both inside and outside. Close it. And then another thing you have to keep in mind is that once you lock it, you have to also release it. If it's not releasing at the right, it's probably because the rod is not positioned properly. But this feels good. Opens and closes, releases both when you're opening and closing the door. And that's it. After that, you just put everything back together, all the plastic paneling in the order that you took it out. It's from bottom to top. So the bottom part, the middle part, and then this part that broke on me as I was making this video. But I made the mistake so you won't have to. So yeah, and let me know what you think, and I'm sorry for the very shaky cam. That's it. I could do with something else.